everybody. It's a gorgeous day outside, so my co-host puppies and I are out for a hike, and I thought I would make a quick video to talk about some race preparation. I've got two races coming up, and I wanted to kind of talk about what I do to prepare for a race. First of all, I'll talk about which two races I have coming up. We are in 2021 or 2020, and my next race will be on October the 10th, which will be the Halloween Hobble 100. This is an awesome race. I did this last year and had a blast. It's a great first 100-miler for people that want to get into that distance, that haven't done that distance before. This is a flat, non-technical course that's a lot of fun. It goes right through. It's a 4-mile route that you do 25 times. So that gets a little monotonous, but if you can handle that, then it's a really good race you could do without a crew, because the loop goes right through the parking area where you're going to have your car or your tent set up, or your crew if you have one. I did this race solo last year, and it was not a problem at all. It's really fun. I'll be doing a video of that experience and race and talking about it, so stay tuned for that. But I wanted to get into what I do to prepare for a race. Before I get into that, the second race I have coming up is in November of this year. I'm doing a 200-mile race. It's called Race Across Florida, where we start at one coast and we literally run into the other end of Florida to the other coast. So looking forward to that. Haven't done a 200-miler in a while, and it should be a lot of fun. That's going to be a little bit tougher of a race. I'll be doing that one solo as well. So I'm gearing up for these two races. So race preparation. Everybody has a different way of going about getting ready for a race, and I thought I would share some of the things that have worked for me so far. So by trial and error, these things have worked. So I thought I would share some things that do work. First of all, training. I go out and I do a lot of hiking, fast packing, try to hit at the hills as much as I can. I do road running as well. I mix everything up. I don't necessarily follow an exact plan, but I do what my body feels like. When I feel like I need to speed up my pace and be more comfortable, then I try to hit the hills and go a little bit faster. Shorter runs, more hills, and if I feel like my endurance is lacking a little bit, I'll go and do some longer runs. I have a nice 20-mile route by my house. It's a road run, and it's a nice, fun, easy route that I do to get my endurance up. And I do some cross training. I used to have a lot of back problems, a sore lower back. I've got a herniated L4, and that from a long time ago, back when I was horseback riding. I had a bad fall, and I also have a ruptured disc in my L5. So L4 and L5 is pretty messed up, and I do get a lot of back pain. But since I've been going to the gym and working on my core and my abs, that has really significantly helped, especially with the races. So I highly recommend that. If you're preparing for races, make sure your core is good and ready to go. So that's what I try to make that a priority, especially closer to the race time, making sure my core I don't miss core day. So I try to get that in, even if I have to miss a long run or a training run. I try to be sure to get my core workout in. I also try to watch my diet, try to decrease the sugar, decrease the carbs, try to lean up a little bit just so I have an easier race weight before the races. And I don't go crazy with it. I don't go counting calories or anything. I just try to do what makes me feel better. Eating a lot of natural foods, fruits and vegetables, organic meats, and so that my body feels good and strong and ready. Another thing that I do to get ready for these races is get my gear together and gear in order. I usually do these races solo, so I'm used to having a lot of drop bags. I'll put things that I need, start getting those together and ready a long time before the race actually happens, so that I can add stuff to it as I remember. But I'll usually have a few drop bags for each race. This race coming up in October, I'll have my car right there, so I won't need any drop bags. But for the one in November, I'll have a few. And, you know, dry socks, a new pair of shoes if I need, or a fresh pair of shoes, not new. Snacks, electrolytes, and warmer clothes for sure. That's important if I need to add something or change it out. So, and very important is rain gear. It always rains, whether it's going to be perfect weather or not. It's gonna rain at some point in these races. So, regardless of what the weather says, I always come prepared with rain gear. It can also act as another layer of warmth or wind protection if you need it. So, try to get my gear together and in order well before the race goes, so that I don't have to be stressing about it. And again, I can add things to it as I remember. Rest. So this is what works for me, is I try to 2 days before or 2 nights before I have a race, I try to make that my main sleeping day. So I'll use this race in October as an example. That race is going to start on Saturday morning. So on Thursday night, I'm going to make that my main sleeping night and try to get as much sleep as possible. So a lot of times I'll take a quarter of a melatonin. Sometimes melatonin works good too. But if I really want to get a good hard sleep, which I rarely take, is a Unisom. I never take a whole one. For me, it's a little too strong. But I'll take a quarter of a Unisom, and it'll just knock me out, and I'll get a good solid 10 to 12 hours of sleep. So that's really what I try to aim for before a race. That way, I'm not stressing out about getting enough rest right before the race. So I feel like the night before the race is kind of a bonus night of sleep. So Friday night, I'll go to the place where we'll be camping, and I'll just try to get as much sleep as I can, but I won't worry about it because I will be very well rested from Thursday night. That seems to work well for me. So I know everybody's a little different in how they go about that. But after doing so many races and lots of overnight races, 100-mile, 200-mile races, that seems to be what works best for me. As far as traveling, I try to get there with plenty of time to relax, check into the hotel if I have to get one, or set up camp if I have to camp out. Have enough time to not rush to get my packet pickup and get everything settled and find out where I need to go. So I'll try to ideally go 2 days before the race starts. So drive down on a Thursday, have Friday to get last minute things that I need, like food and water and stuff like that. Have a packet pickup, relax, check out the area. It's usually beautiful races and beautiful locations, so it's fun to just drive around and see the town and enjoy that for a little bit, which is cool. And I like to have the time to do that without being rushed. So I typically try to go a little bit earlier rather than going the day before the race, because you've got so much travel. What happens if something happens with your car or traffic holds you up? It just can get to be a little stressful. And the day before a race, I try to have as little stress as possible and as much rest as possible. So that's usually what I do. Another big race preparation, which for me is huge, is my mental state and how I'm feeling and what I'm thinking mentally. These races are so mental. It's your head and what's between your ears is what's going to get you through these races and to the end. From experience, I've done quite a few of these races, love it so much, and it really has come down to strategy and how I think and how I feel and how you handle different problems that come up as they do, because they always will come up. That's a given. So you just have to be prepared and be well rested and as clear of a head as possible. Again, I've done a lot of these races solo, so how I feel mentally going into the race is I make that a priority, and I'll explain that a little bit. I try to be very peaceful, very calm, simple, break down the race into simplest terms, try not to overstress and overplan things. If I can, this trail is going to be leading towards a road, and I got my little puppies here, so I'm going to turn around and go the other way. And they'll be following me, little guys. So, let me let you say hello to these little ones first, if you haven't yet. So, there's Summer, there's Ollie. Hey guys! And where's Millie? Millie's right here. Yep, they're my little trail runners today. And they are so cute and awesome. They're really doing great since we've adopted the two little ones, and Millie's a veteran, so she has fun teaching these guys what to do, where to go. So back to your mental clarity and preparation for these races. It really is the biggest thing, in my opinion, to be prepared and have as easy, clear as possible. So what I mean by that is you really don't want to be stressing out. You don't want to get into an argument with your significant others or your family. If you can avoid things at all costs to get yourself upset, that would be ideal. It is important to just try to keep things very calm, very simple. Try not to overdo things. Try not to overstress. I try to read a book that I really enjoy, and do calm, peaceful things, like I'll try to meditate leading up to the race and the day before the race. I'll have music and playlists ready that are soothing and calm, which I'll get into that for these race preparations in just a minute. But it's really important that you go into these races in a good mental state, because it's going to be tough no matter what. Even the races that I think are going to be easy, there's always hard challenges one way or another. It's to be expected, and you just have to be ready for it, whether it be weather challenges or nutrition issues or whatever. Something's always going to happen, so you got to be ready. And if the more mentally prepared you are for that, the better you're going to be able to handle it. And that saved me many, many times. So I'll be talking about that in some of my race reports that I'll be doing videos for, so that other people can be ready for those races as much as possible. Because like I mentioned in the intro video, it's one of the first things that I do when I sign up for a race is try to Google and YouTube anything I can about those races, so that I can be as prepared as possible, know what to expect, and try to be prepared mentally and with gear, physically, all of that stuff. Some races have different challenges, like some are all on the beach, some are in the mountains with high elevation, some have a lot of exposure to weather elements, some have aid stations that are really far apart. You got to be ready for just about anything, and the more knowledge you have about these races, the better. So it's good to do as much research on stuff as you can. So that's why I'll be talking about some of the races I've done and how they've gone and what to expect, what my experience was. So mental preparedness is highly important in my opinion. Just also, when I go into a race, I really want to connect to the race, connect to nature, connect to the trail. Like, these trails are amazingly beautiful, and these races are taking you into some places that are just breathtaking. And these are experiences that you just want to soak in and absorb as much as possible. I've joked with some of my friends before that, in my opinion, I think these races are like a relationship. Each race is going to be a significant story and relationship. You're going to have super highs and super lows. You're going to have challenges. You're going to learn a lot. You're going to test yourself. You're going to see how you really are and feel. It's going to bring a lot to the table. So in these hard races, especially these long distance ones, you've got a lot of time out there by yourself, and that's a lot of time to think. So any subconscious or conscious things that are bothering you or motivating you are pretty much going to be brought up and thought about on these races, which I enjoy and I love, because that just makes me a better person, especially going forward with plans. And so I enjoy the relationship of a race. So, but everybody's different. Another thing that I really try to prepare before going into these races is stuff that's going to keep my mind occupied. For me, that's important. A lot of these people, and I admire them, they can go into these races and without any kind of music or entertainment and just enjoy the race, and that's awesome. And don't get me wrong, for a large part of the race, I definitely do the same too. Turn out all electronics off and listen to the race, or listen to my body, really get into the race and have an amazing experience. But then there is some times where I'm going to want that music and entertainment. So I want to talk about what I do to prepare for that. A few things, because keep in mind, you are out there for a very long time, and some of these things can really help save your mental health while you're out there, depending on certain issues that you can run into, which I'll try to explain. So I always have music. I've got playlists ready. Not everywhere I go to race will have self-service, so I do have YouTube, and I will download a bunch of music or videos that I want to listen to, usually documentaries, usually running documentaries or adventure documentaries. I can never get tired of listening to that stuff, and I just love it. So I'll download a bunch of those, but I've got a ton of songs that I have downloaded that I can put on a playlist or a video and listen to it while I'm racing. I also have a media app on my phone where I'm not technical, so I have to use my husband for help, and he will download and set up a few different movies for me that I will look forward to listening to. I really try to use the movies as kind of an ace in my back pocket. So I'll have different movies that are really interesting, but always uplifting and fun. Nothing too heavy, not too big of a drama. I've made that mistake before, and you don't want to be getting into something that heavy when you're exhausted and tired and dehydrated and low on calories and in the middle of the forest in the dark by yourself. So it leads to disaster sometimes. But I'll have positive, happy movies. Some movies that I like are Meet the Fockers. Can't ever go wrong with that one. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. What's that one? The Cinderella movie with Drew Barrymore. I'm forgetting the names of all these movies at the moment, but anything positive, happy, uplifting, and fun, silly comedies usually are really good. And I'll have a few of those lined up. And I try to wait till nighttime when I know that I'm the most tired, and I kind of feel like it's a movie night thing. So I usually listen to audiobooks and music throughout the day, and then I'll wait till the sun goes down or at night when I start to really feel the fatigue to put on a movie. And that helps me out a lot, especially when I'm super tired or I'm hitting a wall and I'm starting to get really down, and just, you kind of get into a cycle in your mind sometimes when you're doing these races, and I'm talking about the longer distance ones, where you just kind of get upset about stuff. You get sometimes down that you're out there by yourself, you're down that the weather is terrible, you're down that you just feel terrible, you know, things start to hurt, and it's like a phase. You got to go through that stuff, but you also get out of it. So this is a great time to use a movie to pull yourself out. I've been in a very low state and really felt kind of upset. For whatever reason, something's going on in my life, or somebody's bothering me, whatever the case. And you know, I'm out there just not having the best time, and I'll put on one of these movies and it just redirects my focus and kind of pulls me out of that funk and helps me to refocus on what I'm doing, what I'm trying to accomplish, my strategy of what I need to do, and just it really helps me a lot. So I really use these movies to keep me, to kind of pull me out of a wall if I'm running into anything, or to keep me my mind going. It also helps when you're extremely fatigued and tired and you just want to take a nap and sleep, and you put on Big Fat Greek Wedding and you just want to laugh and get into that movie, and it keeps your attention, keeps your mind active and thinking about something else rather than how exhausted and tired you are. So it helps a lot. So music, movies. I also have a ton of audiobooks. I love listening to books on tape. You can also download my book that I wrote. After I finished hiking the Appalachian Trail and doing the 3 different 200-mile distance races for the Triple Crown on the West Coast, which was Bigfoot, Tahoe 200, and Moab 240, I wrote a book about all of it, my whole experience, the ups and downs of it, through hiking the Appalachian Trail, and it was just such an amazing journey and experience. But that book is out there. You can download it on from Audible. But they have so many awesome books, of course, and I have a ton of adventure books. Again, I can never get tired of listening to that kind of stuff, so that's what's mostly on my queue to listen to. And for these races coming up, I have a bunch of books ready that I have already purchased, downloaded, and I'm excited and anxious to listen to, so that gives me something to look forward to for these races, which is important and fun and exciting. So some of these books I've been just dying to hear, and I can't wait for the race to get here so that I can listen to them. So that's really what keeps my mind going. Of course, you can talk to other runners. That's always fun, to see their experiences, what they've done, what they're planning to do, and how they're doing. So talking to other people, getting to know other people. I've met some incredible people in these races and on the thru hike that are awesome friends and people that, you know, you have to turn everything off to be present and to be a part of that. So don't underestimate the power of talking to people and making new friends while you're out there. It's mentally stimulating and a lot of fun to do. But that's really what the main stuff that I do to get ready for these races. When you are in these races and you are hitting an issue or a problem, and you really feel like you don't have any or many options, you don't have too many options, and you feel like you want to quit or DNF, what has worked for me is taking a break, getting something to eat, whether you're hungry or not, getting some water, getting some electrolytes, and trying to regroup, make a plan, reset, and keep going. That's been really, that saved me many times on a trail when I've had issues and didn't know what to do, and I just needed a major reset, which I was able to get, and then keep going and finish the race. So keep that in mind. Sometimes it's as easy as changing up your music, putting on a movie, putting on a different audiobook that's maybe not so down and depressing. Put on something fun. Sometimes I'll even, I've got different playlists of music that I listen to. I've got my main playlist, which has my favorite songs, but sometimes I'll just put on something off the wall, silly and fun, like Disney music or movie soundtracks or classical music, and something that's different that I can really get into and kind of help pull me out of whatever funk I'm in. It's gonna happen. In these races, it's gonna happen, and you need to be prepared for when that does happen. So that would be my biggest thing of advice, is to expect these things to happen, because it will, and to be prepared and ready for it. Make sure you have your media or whatever device you have and it's charged and ready to go. In the cold weather, it will zap your batteries a lot faster, so keep that in mind. A lot of races don't have places where you can charge your phone, so throw a charger into your drop bag so that you can charge your device as you need it. I use my phone throughout the whole race, so I always have to charge it at some point. So having a charger is important, so that you do have access to these things when you do need it. That's what's really helped me quite a bit. You've got to keep your mind positive. You got to keep your vibrations up. You got to get into these races and get into these beautiful trails and really have an amazing experience. And it's addicting. As you can see with me, I love it so much. I really have a passion for these races and being outside and being on these trails. And that's what has motivated me to do so much more. And I want to share that with you, because I really hope that more people know and believe that it's possible, that they can do it. They can do it alone. They can do it with their friends or family. But they need to get out there and try and do it. I never thought I could do these kind of distances. And I just have gradually built up to it. I started out doing a half marathon, and then I did a marathon one day. I thought I was gonna die. I was exhausted afterwards, and I'm like, how in the world can people go further than this? But you can. And then I signed up for my first 50-mile race and had a blast. I signed up for 100 after that, and then I was hooked. And every time I did a 100-mile race, I learned what my strategy was and what I could do to do better and improve it. And I just wanted to keep improving for myself, not to compete against other people, but to compete against my own self and to become a better runner, more efficient, and have incredible experiences, which I've continued to do. So I do all of this in hopes that it'll get other people out there to do this as well. It's life-changing. It really helps your character and your life, who you are. It creates who you are and who you want to be. It gives you time to make plans, be out there, think, appreciate nature, appreciate what you have, appreciate your life, appreciate the people around you, whether it be volunteers, race officials, other racers, your family, people that want to support and love you. You really get out there and see all that. It's like lifting a veil sometimes, and the appreciation for life and the ability to do so much is just wonderful, and in my opinion, very addictive. But you could have worse addictions, so if that's the worst of it, then I'm happy with that. But that's really the driving force of these videos, is to share my experience so that other people could be better prepared, a little more prepared, or at least have a heads up with some of these races and some of the things that I've gone through. So much trial and error, and things that have worked, things haven't worked for me, and so that that they can get out there and do it themselves. I would love to hear your stories. I would love to hear your experiences and your races, and we can just keep all this going. Inspire others to do the same. And that's what this is all about. It's just, it's so, the ultra running community is like no other. The people that you meet are just so selfless and so positive and amazing. I have met the nicest people, and I never would have if I had not gotten into this kind of this kind of sport where I really am competing against myself. There's a lot of people that are super competitive and that are phenomenal ultra runners. I have a lot of idols, and I lost Millie. Millie, come on! So I'll wait and give her a second so she can catch up. But a lot of my running idols in this ultra community have just been such an inspiration for me. But I do know for myself that I'm not striving to win, to be the top, to be the fastest. I have won one race overall, and that was brutally hard and quite the experience that I thought was rather tough. So I have no interest whatsoever of being at the top of this game. I compete for myself. I compete to have experiences and memories for my own self, and that's just my motivation and my strategy. But everybody's a little bit different, and I respect everybody's position and what they are going after to do, as long as they get out there and try to do it. So I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope this makes sense, and go prepare for a race. Go sign up. Find something in your area. Find something in a new place that's beautiful, and go prepare for it. Go for it. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for Halloween Hobble coming up and for the race across Florida. I'll be definitely doing videos about all of that, and hope to share those memories and experience with you as they happen. So thank you. Have a great day.